in, Rose. Come here, honey.
All right. Things are actually good. I'm going to do a little cutting and pasting and then I'll
Okay.
come back to you. I mean, you're going to be shown on live right now. You are.
Okay. Hi.
And but I'm going to play a video and anyway, okay?
Okay. Sure.
Thanks. That's what has All right, now let's talk a little. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Let's Okay, stop sharing. Here we are. Hi, I'm sorry that I was so kind of out of it for a minute.
It's okay.
And I'm getting it together. Tony Wilson is here. Do you know Tony Wilson?
I don't, not yet anyway. Hi,
Okay.
Tony.
Ah, okay, now I can look at your face
That's
and say hi calmly. I'm sorry.
okay.
Well,
It's
what
okay.
happened was we changed phone companies. Just remind me never to do that again.
Oh, don't change phone companies
Oh God,
unless you absolutely have to.
that's so annoying. And I usually am a very chill person, but this stuff really, because it's constant and and then
Yeah.
you fix something and something else comes up. And so, you know, those watching who know me well, they're probably giggling, I'm guessing. Anyway, so so we never met, we never knew about each other.
No,
Um, and you're in New York, right?
I'm actually closer to Washington, D.C.
Oh,
I'm close. If anyone who knows Maryland or the D.C. area, I'm close to Annapolis, Maryland.
Annapolis. Oh,
Yeah,
like
so I'm
Indianapolis, but not.
not Indianapolis, but Annapolis,
Oh, okay.
which is right on the Chesapeake Bay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. You do you work a lot in New York?
I go up to New York. I go up to Philly. Yeah, I
Oh,
just put the bass in the car, and that's where I go. Yeah,
yeah, that's a lot. Talk about driving. That's a lot of driving.
it's a lot of driving, but honestly, I like to drive. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't love sitting in traffic. Who loves
yeah,
that?
yeah,
But I always feel like I have some really nice alone time when I'm
yeah,
driving.
yeah.
And so for me, it gives me an opportunity to, if I'm trying to learn some music, I can just listen to something on repeat. But I'm a big fan of audiobooks. So
Oh.
I am like it gives me a chance to like listen to my stories. I love stories. I like being read to. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, traffic is the bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week was a lot of I was a lot driving a lot too. So that added to my abnormal stress.
Understand. I understand.
Yeah,
That's something that because I live in the DC area and I have to plan my commute when I'm going
yeah,
to DC. Like tomorrow, I'm playing at Blues Alley in DC, and I just have to leave really early, because rush hour around
yeah.
the district is bonkers. So yeah, but audiobooks.
That's good. I actually practice in the car
Yeah,
because, strangely, it kind of takes over the kind of dispersion, like there's the driving to focus on, and
yeah,
then I'm free to pay attention to my body and stuff. I
yeah,
never quite figured out how that worked because I thought that driving would take too much attention,
right.
But when I'm sitting home and I'm practicing, I'm a lot more easily distracted.
It's interesting. I mean, driving. I mean, I feel like I also practice while driving. Obviously, not with an
Yeah.
instrument in hand, but the mental practice is as effective in many ways because then once you get your hands on the instrument, then you've
Yeah.
already imagined what your plan was. What
Yeah.
you were intending to accomplish, and so in a way, you've already trained your brain. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of telling the muscles what's up.
Yeah, that's the same with singing too. But of course, hands-on is a little better, but still.
Yeah.
Last night, actually, I went to see at a very nice venue. I went to see Alan Broadbent and Harvey S.
Oh, how nice.
It was lovely. It was really, stunningly beautiful and mellow and,
Just a
yeah,
duo?
yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Harvey's a really interesting player.
Hmm. And fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it just you don't hear a lot of, I mean, here anyway, you don't hear a lot of player. Well, that kind of a situation, you don't really hear a lot anyway anymore, kind of the Alan Broadbents are kind of old school, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it actually sitting there, I sing all different kinds of stuff, but sitting there, it made me want to create, a standards gig, just
Right.
like get a few old broads like me who know a lot of standards and just,
Yeah.
sit with a great piano player and sing,
Right.
because boy, they just one of the outstanding songs was All the Things You Are. It was like,
Uh-huh.
my God, I don't, they, I it just, it was kind of mind blowing what they
Right.
were doing. It was gorgeous. So, and they're so cute. And I don't know how old. Oh, I'm going to interview Alan, and yeah, I think he's getting up there a little bit. He's
Mhm.
probably over 80, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, because sometimes like the music keeps people timeless in a way.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I mean, look at us. We're
I
like
know.
90, you know.
I know, totally like
We look
90, but look,
30.
look. That's right. Look, we're fabulous. Yeah, but there is something to that, though. I think music does keep us
Oh yeah.
young because we're always searching, we're always creating, and being open to those channels, it makes our minds more flexible, which I think that is a hallmark of aging is inflexibility in the mind, not just in the body, but in the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Sheila Jordan was working up until the last year. She
Yeah.
died at 97.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Nancy King and Jay Clayton, I grew up them all together. I mean, Jay was not that old. She was like
Mm.
82 or something. And
Yeah.
then I think Nancy was not that old either, but
No, she was
she was
younger, I
kind of a
think.
recluse and also her body was really
Mhm.
giving her trouble for a long time. She had hip replacements and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but do you know David Amram?
Not personally, I know that name, but
He's adorable. If you ever
yeah.
get a chance to meet him, what a cool man.
Yeah.
Great talker, thinker, player. He's older and he's constantly on the road doing things.
Oh,
He's, I think he's over 90.
it's incrable. See
I
that
know.
goals. These are goals.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay physically active and strong so I can carry my own bass around. I mean, I could guess get a roadie for that, I guess, one day, but but the whole goal is to be able to do that until, go like this and then like that instead of like this, you know, go like this and then done. That's it. That's the goal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
Joyce. Hi, Michael. Michael H says fucking badass.
Well, thanks, Michael H.
And Joyce Glasgow, she's
Joyce.
in Seattle.
Mm.
So yeah, let's see. This is very loose conversation.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like them just like, it's like a hang.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to know each other. We're going to
Yeah,
be fast friends. I can already
yeah,
tell.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Paul Jost was the one who led me to you.
Ah, love Paul Jost. Oh my goodness.
I love that sigh. Wait, I have to actually message him and just tell him that you're on.
Ah,
You can continue talking, but
yeah. Well, Paul is another one of those magic people. Not
yeah,
just musically, but just like him as an individual. As a human. He's a beautiful human, which translates into his music making. I have a gig coming up with him in November. I'm very excited to play with him again. So yeah, Paul, magic, magic, Paul.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, now I have to do it on my phone because
that's okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
because
the
yeah, I know it's
computer's
all
not
right.
working properly.
And it's all right. I know. I know that it's interesting because I mean, during COVID, we all ended up having to do crash courses on technology,
Yes.
kind of to get up to speed. And about midway through, I just suddenly was like, yeah, the screen of my life out here is way better than this screen. So now I'm trying to find the balance in, participating in social media and still feeling like I'm not being sucked into that screen all the time because, I the full life screen is way more colorful and interesting for me at this point. Maybe
I
it's
was,
my age too. I don't know.
no, I was just listening to this woman speak on YouTube about, just what's going on spiritually and politically too. And she was just kind of going on about, how um well, in her terms, dangerous, being connected, so connected to technology is,
Hmm.
which, it's nothing new for us to think about. We've thought about it for many years,
Yeah.
since it's been sneaking in, and AI, and the whole thing. But and she wasn't like going overboard, but she was just saying, it's, be aware,
Yeah.
it's,
Don't bury your head in the
yeah,
sand.
and don't believe everything, and
No, that's the other
so
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
And we're tethered in one way or another. I mean, I just think about that in terms of phone numbers. How many phone numbers do you have memorized? Right.
Maybe two.
Right, exactly. Right. I know, like mine and my husband's,
That's it.
and then my childhood phone number, which doesn't exist anymore. I know that one. Yeah. So it's like, well, okay,
Oh my God, wait a minute. See, I come from a time. Decatur two. One, two, three, four. Decatur two. Yeah, I can barely remember, but Decatur. That was,
Decatur.
yeah, it wasn't like 818 or,
Right. Yeah.
510 or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But there's aspects of it where it is a tremendous tool, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of surrender that is maybe needs to be reevaluated. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
You're
center.
good. You're good. You're good.
No, I like your vibe.
Oh, thank you. I like your vibe too. And I
Thank you.
like how I'm looking at your screen and I see gratitude right there in the back, and that's it. The key. Yep.
Gratitude and be brave.
And be brave. Exactly. I have to take my
Also,
glasses off to see that one though.
you can't really see this one,
What's that
but
one?
um, this one, which is right next to my Noontime
Uh-huh.
Ang logo, isn't that cool?
That is really great. Yeah.
This says have, hold, and live in great, huge space.
Dig it. Yeah. Yeah. And hold that for others. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, that's what I keep thinking. There's another thing up here. Well, the reason why I even wrote that was, well, you can't really see it. This picture up here.
Uh-huh.
So what that is it's a it's a field. It's a cornfield, and there's a little girl standing and looking at the camera.
Hmm.
And then there's through the cornfield, there's a path. So it goes, it's quite a large cornfield. There's a path and it goes down, and then halfway from here to the end, it goes sideways. And I did a workshop once where uh, I think I took this picture from a magazine, something like that. And, you know, it was an interesting experience. This particular thing brought up, and it was what I was going through at the time, I'm sure, but
Mhm.
it was that the possibilities of my life were like the long cornfield, and the
Mhm.
little girl looking at the camera was me, and she's
Mhm.
saying, "Come on,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's go,"
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And yeah, it was unknown, but so what, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where that big space kind of comment came from. Yeah.
I love it.
It's not staying there though. I have to do something better.
I have a similar, it's on the opposite wall from here, but I have a little bit of an art addiction.
I think.
Whatever, I'm in my office, I can hang up, I still have the ceiling. But I do, I used to do it a lot more. I just haven't had time to do it recently. But I used to do a lot of like collage kind of things, and there was a couple of like self portraits that I had done with a collage, where and I, they're hanging up because they're also like reminders to myself of like, oh yes, I want more of that, or that kind of thing. And I think it's helpful just having those visual reminders, of your intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how the same intentions can come up like after 3 years or four
Oh yeah.
years, and yeah, so it's like a consistent reminder, like you say, of who you are. It's,
Hmm.
it's like, oh yeah, right. I
Hmm.
remember that state of mind and
Yeah.
yeah, the possibilities and yeah, it's when I was younger, I I began to notice um that these events and experiences in my life would kind of like a tag ending or a repeated motif. They would happen 3 times, and each time, like it was a negative thing, something,
Okay.
a
Wow. Yeah.
breakup or a guy
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the second time, it would be a guy, with parts that were similar
Hmm.
to the first guy, but he was better.
Right.
And
You were
then
upgraded.
yeah, and then
Upgraded.
the third time was again an upgrade, but still not ideal. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would notice that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't help notice it because it happened in several areas of my life. And I got it. It was like, oh, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
This is a really good way to learn. And
Well, and it's funny because when until you learn the lesson, it keeps coming back. I go, I know. I heard you the first time. Okay, apparently not. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's okay though. You know, as long as yeah, whatever doesn't kill you makes you
oh
stronger,
yeah,
supposedly,
that's what they say.
except for Ebola, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but that'll
kind of
kill you.
I know that's my point. It won't make you stronger, it'll just kill you. So yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
so, oh, Hiroki Ohio gozaimasu. He's from Japan.
Hello!
And
I love
Margaret,
Japan.
me too.
Yeah.
You've been there many times?
I've only been there once and I
Okay.
cannot wait to go back. Yeah.
When did you go?
Let's see. I think it was in 2019, just before everything hit the fan. It was
Oh,
like November of 2019.
and where did you go?
Just to Tokyo.
Uh-huh.
Um, I was touring with an ensemble that I play with here in the DC area called the Smithsonian Jazz Masterworks Orchestra. And we were doing a tour kind of through Asia. So we went to Hong Kong, we went to Beijing, and played at the Blue Note in Beijing, which was kind of cool because it felt like we were in a bunker, which I think we might have been. I think it was part of the old U.S. embassy, I think, and it's
Oh,
downstairs. It's very bunker-like, but very hip.
oh. Yeah.
And then we did a performance. I think the venue is called the International Forum in Tokyo, and we did a performance there with Kurt Elling as our
Oh,
guest, and
oh.
it was pretty awesome. Beautiful hall, yeah, I want to go back for sure.
Were you able to look around a little bit?
Not too much because we were just moving really
Yeah.
quickly. So I did it, I was able to walk around, and we went downtown Tokyo and had some food and all that kind of stuff. It was like a real hit and run kind of thing, but you know, I'm I'm looking forward to getting back one day for sure.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I've been there many, many times
Yeah.
since 1980, I think.
How
This,
wonderful.
let's see. I can never remember, but I've been there about, I don't know, 50 or 60 times.
Incredible.
Yeah, um last night I've I've been scanning photos. See, that's another thing that I've been
Hmm.
in a clean out mode,
Me
So
too. Oh my God.
I
That's a
think it's happening a lot to people.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
everybody I talk to says the same thing.
We're
But
trying to lighten our load,
yeah,
you know.
so yeah, and there was, I mean, lots of fun memories over the years. But there was, I think it was in 70, no, if I've been going there since 80, it had to be, well, it was early because my hair was frizzy, and so that was a long time ago. But I was in Nagoya at
Mm.
this really great club. If you ever get to Nagoya, is, by the way, is a wonderful town. It's very international because of
Okay.
their port.
Hmm.
So they've always been very international, like forever.
Wow.
And um, anyway, there's a great jazz club there called Star Eyes, and it's really nice. And I was looking at it and thinking, I wondered if they were still there. And I would find it hard to believe that they weren't, because they had been there for years, and they had a beautiful setup, and lots of people came, and
I hope they are.
probably the best club in Nagoya, I'm guessing, So anyway,
I'll put
remember
that on
that,
my list.
Star Eyes.
Also a great tune.
Yes.
I'll put that on my list. Yes. Fabulous. Yeah. I was actually looking at joining the Horticultural Society. I know this is a segue, a sidebar, but because one of the things was they were going to be doing this um, like fully concierge tour to Japan for horticulture,
Oh,
for
oh,
gardening, all this stuff.
wow.
It was a bit spendy, and hopefully they'll do it again because now that I know what I need to save up for, I can do it.
Yeah, that would
But
be nice though,
but it
for
looked
horticulture.
incredible, like absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully.
I think that would be really nice. Hold on one second. Um, because the horticulture there is really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on. I'm doing, okay, just you know, one of those things. Did it send? Yes, okay. Don't change your phone company
Don't do it. Don't do it.
or your internet. Just
Do it.
do it, man. Anyway, so um, um, come on, get myself together.
It's okay.
I want to talk about music.
Yeah, let's talk about music.
Yeah. So you, from your bio, it seems like you're into a lot of different stuff.
I am, but going back to your original comment about the performance you saw recently with Harvey S. and Alan Broadbent, um, that is still one of my favorite ensembles to play in. And I actually am very fortunate. I do have a steady 4 night a week
Wow.
gig that is basically song standards, and it's right now. I mean, normally it's always trio. For the summer, they cut half of it back to just that duo, where it was just piano and bass. But at the end of the month, they're going back to the trio format, which is very much like the Oscar Peterson trio, with Herb Ellis, Ray Brown, or we'll have a saxophone player. So it'll be piano, sax, and bass. And um, it's really one of my favorite ensembles and styles to play in. For me, everything comes down to swing. Does it swing? Even if you're playing straight eighth notes, even if you're playing odd meters, even if you're playing, like this recent ensemble I've been working with, and I'm going to be going on a short tour. Is it next week? I guess it is next week. Boy, it's moving fast. Anyway, but it's like a mixture of classical Indian Hindustani music and jazz, and for part of it, we're playing with a symphony, which is like all the things, which is pretty neat. It's got, big sections for improvisation in the middle, with symphony accompaniment, which is pretty cool. So there's all kinds of things, but even within that, for me, my concept always comes down to this the root of the swing. How am I feeling it? How big is the beat? So I really credit my really at least 35 years of experience playing in that kind of ensemble without drums, but playing standards and just having that as the foundation for everything that comes after that for me. But yes, consequently, it's interesting because I do get involved in all these various projects and different styles of music, and it's super interesting. But still, my favorite thing is to come back and swing. Play in a piano trio. Play. It's my favorite thing. It just makes my heart happy.
In those videos that you sent me, is there any example of that?
Oh yeah. Let's see. What all did I? Let me look and see
I
what I
mean,
sent.
there's, let's see, there's no greater love, Angel Eyes, Honeysuckle
Oh
Rose,
yeah. Let's
Back at
see.
the with Maurice Hines. That sounds good.
Yeah, well, we can check that one out in a while. But yeah, just like if you want to check out, you can do. I mean, there is no greater love, or you can do Moonglow. I mean, I think those Moonglow might be long because we take our time.
Well, we don't have to stay the
You can cut
whole,
it. You can cut out. Yeah,
yeah,
what? You know what? Yeah, go ahead and do Moonglow.
Moonglow. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and this is with the 3D jazz trio that I've been working with now for, I guess, close to 10 years. We were trying to figure out when our anniversary was. And I think it was May. Done.
Oh, oh my
I
God.
just want to.
God damn. Really,
It's
it's
won
like,
$60,000. Yeah, but
oh
yeah, you get the
God.
idea. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, with with Jackie and Sherrie, there's a lot. Yeah, we're best friends, and so that what happens on the bandstand is just like it dovetails from real life and how we feel about each other. And they're both such incredible listeners in the moment, and truly about that accompaniment. And I know that doesn't always happen. I know that it is kind of a special thing that it happens as much as it does when we're playing, but I think it really is because of our mutual affinity for each other and our
Yeah.
deep friendship. Yeah.
And you play in Diva?
I do. I sub in the big band.
Okay.
It's complicated. So the fabulous bass player Noriko Ueda has been the full time bassist in that band for, I don't know, at least maybe 20 years now. She's been playing, and so I sub in the big band. Actually, we're playing a gig at a jazz festival in New Jersey at the end of the month. But there's a smaller version of the Diva Jazz Orchestra, which was the band that accompanied Maurice Hines when we were doing his show for about, I guess it was 4 years or so. And we toured around all these different regional theaters and eventually got to New York City with it. But because of him and that show, that's how the 3D Jazz Trio came to be. Sherrie and I had met teaching actually at a jazz camp,
Oh,
and of course the very first note we played together, we were like, hello, who are you? Where have you been? Just that the feeling of the big beat. And so fast forward a number of years later, when Maurice's show was coming to DC, actually it was starting really in DC and being workshopped and developed.
Uh-huh.
And there's a number of the Diva Jazz Orchestra musicians who live in the DC area.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
it just kind of worked out that when Sherrie was putting the 10-piece band together, there was already a number of A-listers, from the big band that lived in town. It was going to be easy. And then she asked if I wanted to do it. And so I did it, and we went from there to Georgia. I can't remember, but we ended up in Cleveland, which is where we found Jackie Warren on piano. And
Oh,
and so
you
from
ended
the
up in
very first,
Cleveland.
I know,
Okay.
because we would, when would we have ever met? I don't know. And so from our very first note there, it was like, hello, who are you? Where have you been? And it became a thing where before the show, we would just show up like 2 hours before the show to just, hang out and play before the show, and so every day we were playing, a couple hours before we even did the downbeat for the show, so and we would also jam with a couple of the tap dancers that were featured in the show, which is fun because we've done some gigs with them since, but yeah, it's really Maurice Hines is the reason that we even exist. So I just have talk about gratitude.
Yeah.
It's such an honor to have um, known him, worked with him, been friends with him, and just watched him. Because there's eras of entertainers, as and there's the ones where they're dying off, and he was one of those that not only was a great dancer, he could sing, but he had this stage presence that was captivating, and
Yeah.
it was because he was 100% honest, and that's what he said. His mom always said to him, do not try to pull one over on your audience. They're not gonna support you. Always be completely honest. And um yeah, and it was amazing. The moment he would step on the stage, it was like he just had everybody, including the band. We were like, we're right there with you. And even though we played that show, I don't even know how many times, there was always something fresh every single time. And I was fortunate enough to have a feature with him where it was just me and him doing Honeysuckle Rose, because it was his tribute to Lena Horne and her recording at the Waldorf that she did with George Duvivier. And he was really good friends with Lena, and he just always said, well, when I do my show, I'm going to do a tribute to you. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? And he said, well, I'm going to do Honeysuckle Rose just like you did, and so that's the feature in the show. But every night, I mean, of course I played Honeysuckle Rose, but I always tried to make sure I wasn't repeating myself, so it
Uh-huh.
was like, you know, fun to do, and with him because he was just so magical, So it's just incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah.
I in my cleaning out, I've been moving VHS over to USB, and in one of my, I had a really great jam session. I had it for 16 years, but for 7 years,
Mhm.
it was the best session. We
Ah,
had so much great hanging, and people would just kind of come up and sing. And it was just it was great. All kinds of instruments. But this an actor, Obababa Tunde.
oh,
You may not know his name, but you might know his face because he's been in many things over the years.
mhm.
Um, he's not that old, but he's probably older than me. But anyway, he's out of that group of
Yeah,
entertainers, and singing with him was, it was like I stepped into a movie,
yeah, right.
and was singing with one of the famous guys. it had this whole other feel. It was
Yeah.
really amazing. Yeah.
I mean, it's for me, I mean, a lot of times jazz musicians, they try to be so serious. It's all this is serious music, which it is, absolutely. But there has to be mirth in it. There has to be connection, and for me, I always felt like if I can make you dance or make you laugh, then my time is not wasted. It's my life is complete. That's my goal. If I can make you laugh or dance, and um, watching Maurice, I learned so much about like you can still do something musically at an incredibly high level and not dumb it down and still be entertaining, and
Yeah.
I really feel that that's something that is often overlooked, that there's this, because it's the thing, if you look like you're having fun on stage,
Yeah.
whether you are or not, the audience is going to perceive it as more fun. Well, not that you're trying to trick the audience, that's not the point, but to have that they might not, they may be great jazz supporters and jazz listeners, but their understanding of what's going on might not be at such a high level, so they're relying on the
Something
visual,
else. Yes,
you
right.
know and so if like something fun is happening, and but I always go into every performance as like I'm going to make this as fun as possible for myself as well as my bandmates, and then if anybody else is really listening, that's great. I mean, of course at a concert they're going to be, but
Yeah.
um, but in order to generate that energy and that good vibe and that that experience of we just came together and we had this incredible moment, and now it's gone into the ether, but we still have it with us,
Yeah.
and it makes us feel good when we think about it versus like, yeah, I went and saw so and so and they just were the whole time, I mean, yeah, we've all seen that,
Oh, sure.
and it's I don't know. I learned so much from working with Maurice and seeing like, okay, that's actually not a bad thing to do. It's not a dumb thing to do. It's actually a very good thing to do. It's a very human thing to do, you know, to just make a connection because that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Paul's really good at that, Jost. I have a
He's
friend here.
fantastic.
Yeah, I on several of my records I've had Paul and a friend here,
Mhm.
a Filipino singer, Mon David. So I've
Mm,
had both of them on several records as
wonderful.
guest artists, and their spirit reminds me of each other. They're loving and sharing and quality minded, and they both think about the music that they're doing
Mhm.
deeply,
Yeah.
and um and and are fun. Mon is hysterical. He's like he really gets he really like laughs and gets together with the audience, and
Uh,
talks with them, which yeah, the audience loves that.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he's brilliant, so it's everything.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is.
Uh-huh.
And that's one thing that Sherrie and Jackie and I really like doing when we're performing. We have on our rider that we each need a microphone, not because we're going to sing, but because we're hilarious, and it's like we don't want anybody to miss out, because you've seen that too, where there's one person who has a
Oh
microphone,
yeah.
there's banter going on, and nobody else is privy to it, and so we want to make sure that that's also, because it's also part of getting to know us, and we have a lot of fun, and we enjoy making people laugh and dance, all those things, so having that connection, it's so important, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. Um, so, um, what do you think the position of the bass player is in the band? What do you think the kind of the real important responsibilities of the bass player are?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's the foundation. It's the foundation. Just like if you think about a solidly built building, if the foundation isn't strong, no matter how great the architecture might look, it's not gonna withstand things. And so the foundation is twofold, right? It's the rhythmic component, but also the foundation of the harmony. So when you see rhythm sections set up, often the bass is right in the middle. And that's not just because it looks better, because it looks good because there's this tall thing in the middle and it's a focal point, but because it's the bridge between harmony and rhythm and the foundation of both of those things. So yeah, ultimately it's foundation. I'm providing the foundation,
Right.
which means that 99% of the time I'm in a supportive role, which is totally fine, and
Yeah.
exactly what the role of the instrument is. It's supportive. And then I'll get a solo. I mean, I certainly get a solo when it's my ensemble, if I want one, right? But that's not my main goal when I'm going to play a gig. There could be an entire set of music. Whoever the leader is, I might not get a solo. That's totally fine because I'm providing that role, that foundational role, and you know I'm still improvising. It's just in quarter notes or half notes, or it's I'm still fulfilling that creativity and that conversation, but it's from supporting and doing my utmost to make everybody else have the best and easiest time creating what they want to create. So being that foundation, I want to
Yeah.
hold you. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, one time I went to see Kenny Kirkland here, and he was
Mm,
playing with a really great bass player who lived here and died,
mm,
David Dave Carpenter, his name,
mm,
and it was Jeff Tain Watts. And when I was first sitting there, I I was kind of confused. I couldn't quite tell what was going on. Jeff was on the front of the beat. Kenny was on the back of the beat, and it was like I really I was not digging Jeff at first,
mm.
and then I got Dave.
Mm.
Dave was the
Anchor.
middle. He
Yeah.
was the anchor man. And then once I got that, I hooked into that, everything was kind of magnificent.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, many times, over the years, musicians would tell me the bass is the timekeeper. It's the bass you
Yeah.
want to really check your time with.
Yeah.
And yeah, um and yeah, like for instance, last night, that one reason it was so fascinating, and I love when this kind of thing happens, is because so Harvey S, he's, I mean, it's not like he can't play walking quarter notes
Hmm.
with swing.
Oh yeah.
Talk about talk about with swing.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not most of what he was playing last night with Alan
Mhm.
Broadbent. And Alan Broadbent was not on the quarter notes either. He was doing all kinds of stuff. And, but that's, of course, the fascination and the thrill for the playing and the listening. I
Mhm.
mean, so Alan was, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but he was, beautiful,
Yeah.
light, everywhere and creative. And then Harvey was creative.
Hmm.
He was really creative with both his timing and his harmony. And and that's, like I said, it was fascinating to, because there was a balance. I don't know if an uneducated ear could really get a sense of that. Um, you know, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. But anyway, that that and I think for less experienced bass players, they look at that and they want to go for that, but they don't
Right.
have the foundation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You have a job to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, what you mentioned, like between the two of them, they have spent some time, solidifying time
Yeah,
in their bodies, right? And
right.
that's one thing when I'm doing any kind of educational residency or something like that. That's something I always say, okay, whoever's counting off the tune, whether it's your band director or if it's you or a classmate, whatever it is, um, as soon as someone starts counting, you should be moving some part of your body, right? Because that's how you internalize things as quickly as possible. Move your body with whatever that tempo is, right? So now, fast forward, now we got RVS and now in Broadbent who have, decades of that concept of internalizing and being able to be anchored to that same quarter note or half note, whatever it is, and then be able to both explore around that space because it's already very present without them having to overtly state it, right? Um, I mean, that's the goal. But again, you need to be able to, as a bass player, I don't even say quarter notes. I like to say, can you play a good two feel? Because the half note is everything. If it applies to all genres of music, especially if you're looking at, and I hate to use just the term Latin because there's a huge genre of so many diverse styles, right? So, I'm using quotes when I say that, but Brazilian, having that two feel, everything's based on that two feel. If you're going like Cuban salsa and you have a tumbao where you're not playing on 1 and 3, you're playing on the end of 2 and beat 4, but you're still feeling the half note. Go to swing, the half note, and not on 2 and 4 necessarily. I mean, our focus is always on that hi hat, but it's the anchor. It's like like a clock, and having a good two feel for when you're swinging at fast tempos, but having that same sense of intensity and intention when you're playing slow. I mean, one of my favorite musicians is Shirley Horn, and you want to talk about slow, right? But at no time is there, there's so much space. But for me, it doesn't feel uncomfortable at all. And it's because of her and her bandmates' intention about how much space does this take up,
Yeah.
and being comfortable with space.
Yeah.
Um, you know, two feel bass players, two feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and um, not only that, um, sorry, um, one thing I always bring up to my students to emphasize dynamics and owning your own expression.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Schofield record. I think it's the Groove record. And
Graduation,
yeah, I think so.
love that
Does that
album.
have Charlie Hayden on it?
I don't
It's
know if Kelly's on that one.
well,
Um,
it's a record with Charlie.
okay,
So John takes a guitar solo, which I love Schofield.
me too.
So he takes a great, but guitar, it's a busier solo, right? Because it's guitar.
Yeah,
And then it's Charlie's turn, and what does he do? He plays whole notes,
yeah,
and
fantastic.
it's perfect.
Yeah, and nobody was like, "Hey, can't
Yeah.
he play better?" What?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's
But
it.
yeah, and you said Shirley Horn, that's another thing I stress to my students. I tell them the story of me listening all alone in my living room to
Mm,
Shirley Horn singing In the Dark.
mm.
And she does, this is about it. In the dark,
Yes, yes.
in the dark. And
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that open time, I literally started blushing because I couldn't help myself. I was thinking about what was happening in the dark.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All that time, beautiful,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. I
So,
love it.
oh, yeah,
I love it when I have an opportunity to play with musicians who aren't afraid of that time space, because even now, ballads, in my opinion, don't need to be as fast as they're often done. I mean, and I love a good walking ballad, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
to be able to like commit to play slow and but with intention. It's not just that we're just kind of playing loosey goosey.
right.
The time is marching
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
It's just that we got a lot of space, and I really enjoy that a lot.
Me too. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I
One of
really
these
love
days we're gonna do that together.
Okay,
One of these days we're
that
gonna
would
do
be
it.
really fun. I bet we'll laugh a lot.
Oh, it'll be great. I'm gonna love it. Yep.
Well, that you used the word intention also.
Hmm.
So, and I mean, we're not saying anything new here, but what I like about this show is that I get people's perspectives.
Hmm.
That's what I like,
Yeah.
And I think it's nice for the audience to hear that we're doing basically the same thing in life, but we have our own perspectives, and it's just like a beautiful kind of a beautiful acknowledgement and lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
But intention, it touches on so many different things,
Hmm.
and I think it's for me, it's uh, sorry, somebody said the video stopped. I don't know, Sandy. I mean, we're still, I didn't get any kind of worrisome point. Hold that thought for me, Sherry,
Okay.
okay? I'm gonna just go check on another Facebook page. It might just be hers. So, mm, yeah, no, it's just hers. Okay, good. So, anyway, what was I saying?
Um,
Intention.
intention. Yes.
Now, what was I going to say about intention? Oh, it touches on so many different things. Um, I mean, I think that like if I had to make a list of what was important in life,
Hmm.
um, and even under various umbrellas, like for instance, ethics
Hmm.
would be intention.
Yeah.
Intention is like it's an incredible essence of life. Um, I have to use it when I practice singing. Wow, I have to
Hmm.
use it. If I don't, I might as well just lie down and, you know, scream or something. It's not, it has to be there. And um, I think it has to be there with instrumentalists too at various times. But I've noticed over the years, like guitar players could sit in front of a TV program and just do like scales. But singers cannot do that. They
Yeah.
really, because this body is just, it's alive and it really needs
Hmm.
imagination and direction. And the more that you can do that, you get to what you need.
Yeah. Well, and I would say even guitar players that are doing that, they're not even really focused on that. They're moving through a
Yeah,
thing, which they might be being intentional about playing shapes or playing those scales or whatever, and almost just kind of like being on a treadmill,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah,
But coming back to intention, like for me, and I spent some time in Texas in July. I was at University of North Texas doing their jazz combo workshop, and Professor Lynn Seaton, the great Lynn Seaton,
yeah.
he's the bass player there. He and I were the bass faculty, And
Oh,
I always love it every time we come together to do our bass master classes because I always feel like I learned so much from him in general.
mm,
But we come from the same um, school of thought in that I mean, and he even says this when he was doing a ton of studio work. He's like, even if there's no piano player or guitar player, what the notes that I am choosing, the notes that I'm intending to choose, um, should be handing you the harmony. You should have no question about what the harmony is. So with that I in mind, in my the way I structure a bass line is as intentional, if not more so, than when I'm soloing. I mean, of course, I'm being intentional when I'm soloing. I'm trying to play melodically. Trying to play thematically. I'm trying to speak to whatever the tune is. But when I'm structuring my walking bass lines as that foundation, I'm very intentional about my note choices to make sure that I am handing whoever it is the harmony. Now, granted, everyone I'm blessed to work with already has a grip on that, so it's not like I need to hand it to them. But it just makes it just reinforces,
it's a relationship that
Yes, yeah,
you have. I mean, that's your relationship. You're giving them something
yes, yeah,
they're happy to have.
yeah, exactly. And being able to use, like knowing, in a chord change, whether or not it should be the minor or the major third. And there's sometimes where I can play both of them, because I can play a chromatic thing, which leads us to the next chord change, so like having that intention of where are we going? Always where are we going? And the intention of carrying everyone who's either playing or just listening. And don't want to say just listening, because if you are invested in it, it's you're participating and
Yeah,
not just listening. But
yeah,
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 intention is everything. Intend to play what you're playing, don't just flop around,
yeah.
yeah. And I've done that, especially when I'm like, I don't even know what these changes are, but I got to keep the time going. It's fine. Okay, now I'm good. Okay, it happens. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
There's no shame in it. But the time marches on. Where are we going? So get back on track as quickly as you can. Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're totally speaking my language. Yeah. Um, the for looking forward thing, I I always show my students that. I mean,
Mhm.
and it's for a singer, especially like if you're scouting, it's like a magic wand.
Mhm.
You don't have to be brilliant, but if you know what's coming up
Mhm.
immediately, you're gonna you're gonna make a noise that goes with it, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just started. I've taught at universities on and off over the years, but I just started at Cal State Northridge again, teaching an ensemble, like quartet with five different singers, you know.
Wow.
And yeah, so now I'm there again, you know, and so I mean I've done workshops for years at home, and you know, I mean it's nothing new, but it reminds me because every week it's happening, and I got away from doing workshops every week like several years back. So it's like, oh yeah, right, right. I have to do, you know, lead them and be empathetic, and but you know, lead them in these basic ideas,
Yeah.
you
Things
know.
that come naturally to you, you realize they actually
Yeah.
don't know. And you're the one that has to show them the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week, another thing I always tell my singers, do you know the chromatic scale? And okay, here's my exercise. I have them play anything on the piano, one chord, it could be, they don't even have to know what chord it is.
Mhm.
Start singing a chromatic scale and hold each note with the chord and let yourself love the relationship.
Feel it.
Yeah, and then move on to the next note. Same thing, you know, and because you know, especially for singers, you know, if they sing a note with tension, you know, the first thing they do is, you know,
Resolve. Get to resolve
right,
it. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
And they're out of the moment and they're hated or whatever, you know.
yeah.
So, yeah, the chromatic scale. I mean, and actually, it was really cool. Last week was the first week, and uh, one of the girl singers, got really excited. She said, "I've been thinking that I need more chromatic notes in my singing." So I was like,
Excellent.
"Well, here's the exercise. In 2 weeks, it'll change your singing." You
Yeah,
know.
change your ear, change how you
Yeah.
feel it. You know that tension is really integral because if everything is just sonorous,
Yeah.
it'll be kind of boring.
Boring.
You know, it's all about that tension. You know, about for a bass player, it's creating that pedal tone. You know
Oh God, I
you
love
know,
that.
and I love doing that. Yeah, I love it
Yeah.
so much. You know, where you're just cooking along, and then all of a sudden we're going there, and then it just so when you get to the end of it, you're flying. Yeah,
Yeah.
same kind of thing. That tension is so
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Well, Benny Maupin lives here, and
yeah,
used to play often in the old days. And I just remember sitting in the audience, waiting for his tension notes,
uh
and he
huh,
would just luxuriate in them.
uh
And
huh.
it sounded so good. They were in tune and they
Yeah,
were beautiful.
yep.
Oh, it was just heaven, actually.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so fun. I love that so much.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love pedal tone is just.
yeah, yep. Me too. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Indeed.
what do you say we listen to the honeysuckle one?
Oh yeah, let's check that out. This is taken from we did a nightclub version of Maurice's show at Dizzy's in at Jazz at Lincoln Center in New York,
Okay.
and so you can go and find the whole set
Oh,
online. But this is just my portion with him where I'm playing Honeysuckle Rose with him. And the funny thing about this is I should say that over time he and depending on what the stage setup was like, sometimes he was closer to me than other times, just depending on what the set was like. But it kind of became a joke because he would pretend like he was going to kiss me, but we were far away. And then I remember, I think we were playing in Philadelphia, and then he actually did. And we were all, I mean, I had to keep playing, but like the whole band, the audience, everyone was shrieking, with laughter because it happened, and then I wasn't ever sure if he was going to do it again. So I'm going to say that right now. And you can watch this.
okay, okay. Oh, this sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my husband brought me another coffee.
Oh, I don't think there's anything to apologize about that. Good job, guy.
For some reason, this video and the last video, the volume only goes up 3/4. Do you see this down here? The
Oh,
volume.
yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and again, it could be just what my household is going through. I don't know because it's really doing weird things. But
Your
anyway,
volume has a governor.
yeah, exactly.
One of the great stars that we couldn't see because we couldn't go to that part of town later became a great friend of mine. I was starring in Sophisticated Ladies on Broadway, and she was starring in her one-woman show, Knocking Them Dead. I'm talking about the fabulous, and I'm going to say it again, fabulous, Miss Lena Hall. And we became great friends. And one day I went to her dressing room and said, "Hey, Lena, one day I'm going to do a tribute to you in my show." She said, "Yeah? You're going to do a tribute to Lena, baby?" I said, "Yeah." Well, she said, "Hines, what you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to do that song you do with your great bass player, George Vivier." She said, "Well, you better get yourself a great bass player because it's just you and them." Well, I want you to meet my great bass player to do this tribute to Lena. Please help me welcome Miss Amy Shook. Get this out your way, baby. Get this out your way. All right, get it out of Amy Shook's way. She's going to shook up the bass. She's going to shook up the bass. Shook up the bass. shook up the bass.
Oh, God.
Put it right here. Now, Amy plays what we call in the business nasty bass. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Ooh, honey, so she got nasty already. Honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reasons why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. But I don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. Look out now. Sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips, tasty lips, seems the honey fairly drips. Honeysuckle rose, take some, mama, take some, take some, take some, take some, take some. She's nasty, nasty on that bass. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Amy Shook on bass, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, baby, feel the jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose, honeysuckle rose. When your best sent by flowers droop side. Sugar, you just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. Take it, mama. When I'm taking sips from your chest, those lips are good too, baby. You are looking now. Goodness knows, honey, honey, say I go round. Miss Amy Shook.
Oh man,
Oh man, that was great.
man, I'm
Oh,
telling you, seriously. I mean, his sense of swing and time was, I mean, as you could tell, pretty insane, you know. And yeah, what a treasure and a blessing to have had that experience. And
oh
you
yeah.
know, I'm
Oh my God.
eternally grateful to
Yeah,
him in that.
yeah. Oh God, that was just the cream of the crop, man.
So fun.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, as soon as he starts singing, it's like
Oh,
everything's
okay.
all right, you know.
Okay, yeah. I'm telling you, like at the moment he would step on stage, you know, and he would do this. I mean, he was in his, what was he, 75? And he came down this staircase and then just started doing these pirouettes, and we're like, oh my God, what's going, you know, and it was just, you know, goals, you know,
Wow.
incredible. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow, that's yeah, what a blessing. Yeah.
yeah.
My
Oh,
God.
thank. I hadn't watched that in forever, you know, because I'm still, you know, sad that he's gone. But it's just like, oh
Uh,
man, that was so fun.
he
Such a
died
good,
out long ago, did he? Like a few
no,
years?
just a couple years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, all I can say is there's a party going on
yeah,
lately,
yeah,
Nancy King and Jay Clayton and Sheila and Maurice and
yeah,
uh, Bill, Andy Bay, and I mean, gosh, just
yeah.
you know,
There's so, yeah, hmm,
classic people.
yeah,
I miss that. I mean, I'm sure we could talk about this for a long time too. There's great singers
Mhm.
around now and great players. You know, they're young, they're coming up. There's people with some really good um what's the word? You know, just instincts, right?
Yeah.
Really, really good instincts.
Mhm.
And so I'm not going to take it away from them. And even the singers who are doing something more modern,
Mhm.
um, you know, and the musicians, I'm not going to take it away from them either. And again, for me, it's about intention.
Mhm.
So when I go to see somebody, if their intention is kind of on me, no matter how subtle it is, I
Mhm.
get it.
Yeah.
So, but if it's about the band and the audience and the music, you know, I mean, if it's like an outflow instead of an inflow, I get that too immediately. And so that's what I'm always looking for, and I'm sure you are too. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of really great young people coming up. Who do you know of any like bass players particularly who are coming up that you have your eye kind of like, oh, I like them.
Well, of course, now you put me on the spot. I can't think of a single name.
Okay, well, if it comes to you,
But
but
I mean,
how about in general, like just players or singers that you,
there's just so many, like they're truly great musicians. Thinking of singers, there's one singer that I've had the pleasure of working with a couple of times she is skyrocketing right now. Her name is Ikep Nwele. And if you do a search for
oh,
EKEP,
okay,
it's EKEP.
wait a minute. EKEP.
Hmm. And I believe her last name is spelled Nwelle, I think. Nwele. Yeah. But EKEP, I mean, there's not very many EKEPs out there.
Right.
You'll find
Like
her.
I feel like I've seen her. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah.
she is like she had been the guest artist with the Smithsonian Jazz Masterworks a couple of years ago, where we were doing all the music of Bessie Smith and Mamie Smith. And I swear she channeled both of them. And she's, young. She's so young. But then I've seen her do, she's since then her concept is so solid. She's an old soul, I think. I mean, and you'll totally get that from
Wow.
hearing her. But there's so many, like who have spent time clearly on the craft of, good technique and all of that kind of stuff. But then there's a level of interpretation that is very personal,
Yeah.
which is it's not something that I think is really teachable. It's something that has to be, you have to have spent time listening to the creators of the music. That's the first thing. Imitate first, then innovate. And so listening to the creators first, and then really absorbing that, and then innovating and adding your thing to it. But again, that comes from knowing the material so well and so intimately that you can do that in a very authentic and intentional way.
Yeah.
Um, and there was something else I was going to say just along those lines that completely whew, bye. But ultimately, it's that time spent listening to the creators. I mean, that's really everyone focuses so much on real books, and now it's so much of a focus on iRealB, which is
Yeah.
a tool.
Yep.
However, that is not the music, and even the published version of a chart is not the music. That is a map, you know,
Yeah.
and realizing that in addition, yeah, you want to spend time learning what's correct. I mean, and that's fine, but having that the ability to have a good concept is not something that you read out of a book. It
Yeah.
really does come from listening and
Yeah.
then imitating
Yeah.
and then innovating, adding your thing to it.
My father was a sax player, and
Yeah.
he had he had, I still have it because I just think it's great. It's like a shoebox filled with these small index cards, and
Mm,
each card has the entire song printed on it. Some, they're usually folded
right.
with the chords. It's like that old fake book, that real
Uh-huh.
old fake book one, that
Uh-huh.
where the writing is really old. And
Uh-huh.
and I think it was like I don't know, 20 cents a like a I don't know, it's something like that. And I have the whole shoebox. And
Wow.
I mean it's just like it's fascinating, but I mean there's no way they could have, do what people do today, like read the music the whole time. They'd learn it and then
Yeah.
they would play it.
Yeah.
My friend, oh, thank you, Sandy. My friend spelled Ikep's name. And also she mentioned Santino Taffarella, who
Ah,
I do not know that name at
I don't
all.
know that name either.
Yeah. I mean, if, you know, one person I'll always want to listen to is Cecile McLaurin-Salvant.
Mhm.
I'll always want to go see her. I'll always want to
Yeah.
hear her. I think very highly of her instrument and her attitude and the way she dresses, like she doesn't flaunt her body and
Yeah.
no,
She'll need
and
to. She'll need to
no,
do that.
no. And her choice in piano player husbands.
You
So it's, somebody
yeah.
she picked up off the street. Um, but yeah, but there's also these singers who are kind of one time, oh, I see. This person, Santino, uh, he was living in Santa Barbara where she lives,
Ah,
who just left for Memphis for some
okay.
reason. And he's a young bassist,
Okay.
incredible
Excellent.
young bassist.
Excellent. I'll
Santino,
be looking
remember
for
that?
Santino,
Santino,
definitely.
yeah, Taffarella,
Good name.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's funny because so when I'm not practicing in my car
Mhm.
and I'm listening to iTunes pop up, the jazz playlist or whatever, um, it's it's really great and noticeable to go by. I mean, something will pop up, and as we were saying, like in the first, I don't know, 5 notes or lack of 5 notes,
Mhm.
you get it.
Mhm.
It's like you know if you want to continue listening,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
And I, I mean, this show, I've been doing this show since the very beginning of the pandemic. So
Right.
you're like number 637.
Yes. Fabulous.
And you would think that I would be kind of, oh yeah, yeah, I mean, we're talking to people, around the world but it blew my mind and it still does that there are tons of us all over the planet
Yeah.
doing this
Yeah.
well, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and it's not, it's never more obvious that it's not about being like, whatever you want to call it, an A-lister, like the very top of
There's
the
room for everybody.
hierarchy. It's like it's just amazing what we're doing. And
Mhm.
I truly think if we weren't on the planet, it would just turn into a spinning ball of dust.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, and something that came to me just regarding younger players, and and this still even applies to some older players. I mean, I'm not going to get name any names, but I feel like serving the music should always be the number one priority. Are
yeah.
you serving the music or are you not serving the music? And of course, serving the music does come with having done your homework, meaning that you know the material, you know the lyrics if you're singing them, and you're able to tell the story and not just read it by rote,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But ultimately, I I feel that to serve the music means that your ego isn't a part of it.
Right.
meaning that you're not going to come on the bandstand and enforce your way or the highway. Now, granted, if you're the band leader and you have arrangements you want to, I mean, that's one thing. That's still about serving the music. That's not about you bullying. But there's been a number of times when I've been on the bandstand with like a fantastic piano player in their own right who just insists on doing their own set of chord substitutions, which are not maybe like standard types of substitutions, and forcing it on the whole band every single time. And I'm like, that's not serving the music. That's serving an ego. That's just one example.
Yeah.
Another is like if a drummer just can't play the room,
Yeah.
play some
Yeah.
dynamics that are other than fortissimo.
Yeah.
I mean, for example. So I feel like there's that's the thing that is still needing to be learned by a lot of younger musicians and some older musicians, that the ego needs to be checked at the moment you step on the stage. There's no room
Yeah.
for the ego, be about the music.
I absolutely agree. Sorry, it's funny. I was thinking of Paul Jost as you were saying that for whatever reason, and then I looked over and he was just texting me. So,
Aw.
and he told her, if you're still on, please tell her I send my love and can't wait until we play together again.
Yeah, I can't. I'm telling you, he's fabulous. I cannot. Love you, Paul. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love him to death. I mean, sometimes it really cracks me up because we'll get on the phone. It'll be a few weeks between these kind of phone calls. We get on and then we talk for like 2 hours. And it's like a high school friend or something,
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Like
great.
no time has gone by. You just pick up, and that's a testament of true friendship.
Yeah.
Pottery, I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Uh,
That's fantastic, man. Wow.
where did you grow up?
I grew up in Idaho. I'm from Idaho.
Oh,
I grew up in Boise, Idaho, and I went to the University of Idaho for my degrees, for my higher education,
yeah.
and ended up moving out to the East Coast. My husband is a tenor sax player, and when he and I, for about I'd say 4.5 years, were musicians that we did contracts on cruise ships, and so
Oh,
that
okay.
was a really good, way to, number one, play every day.
Yeah.
Number two, we could do it together. Number three, save some money. Through that, I was able to buy what I call my life's dance partner, which is my bass. I was able to get that instrument from that. But
Yeah.
playing every day, but performing every day. Now
Yeah.
I know that the climate and the sizes of the bands have changed significantly since we were on there. I mean, when we were doing it, we were part of a 10-piece jazz band,
Yeah.
that would break down into smaller groups, and we'd always do a dance set at midnight, I mean, like
Oh,
really,
wow.
really hip. Like, and I don't think they do anything like that anymore.
Right.
But then he took the audition with the Army Jazz Ambassadors, big band
Yeah.
here, and won that audition. And so we moved out here. And incidentally, he's officially retired as of September 1st. So it blows both of our minds that time has gone by already. It's like, what happened? Are we even responsible enough to? Yes, we are by now. But yeah. So, and he's originally from Washington State. So we were Pacific Northwestern folks, and now we're Marylanders, officially. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a teeny little bit of work on ships, but actually they were a lot smaller.
Mm.
And but I worked on the Mississippi Queen several times.
Ah,
I was
yeah.
subbing for the main singer because I'm really way too jazzy for that style. But because they're, you know,
The show, right?
and it's the 2 and 4 and
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
although some of the musicians were,
Fantastic.
yeah, Balletto. What was his first name? He was, I forget his first name, but he was the leader of the band. He was totally hip. Boleto. And then the drummer from New Orleans, Johnny Vodakovich.
Crazy town, right? Yeah.
Oh God, and his time, like I got up to sing the first time and it was like, just like a few beats, right?
Yeah.
That I was like got up to sing and I looked at this guy Boleto and he said, I know. Like, oh my God, the
Yeah. Yeah.
time was, there
Mm.
was something about the perfection of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Nothing like it. When it feels when it's just right, it's just right, and that's always the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Man. Yeah, I've been very lucky and blessed to have worked with some truly great drummers over the years. And and all of them different in their own right, but all coming from a similar concept of feel, and it's everything. I mean, what's the joke? It takes a really good drummer to be better than no drummer at all. And I love you all drummers. Don't.
Believe it or not, I haven't heard that joke.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. I'm trying to remember who said that. I can't remember if it was Chet Baker, Stan Getz, somebody like that
Oh,
said
really?
it's somebody. I'll
Yeah.
find out for sure and let you know. But it's like, yeah, and I've played so many gigs without drums, and I know that that's been basically where I've learned to hone
Keep
my
talking.
time,
Yeah, yeah, right.
and really be the rock solid, and so then when I am with a great drummer, this is so easy. I'm not having to fight anything. Um, but I've been really, really lucky to have had some fantastic drummer colleagues over the years. And they're close friends. That's the thing. I feel like with bass players and drummers, you do have to like each other,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's better if you love each other. That, but because it's such a, like, that quarter note is a very intimate thing, and you can make or break everything, and having that mutual relationship is
Yeah.
so important.
I
Yeah.
remember on my jam session, it was, I guess, kind of early, but I mean, I've sung since I was born, but,
Mhm.
but this was my jam session, and, I put together who I thought was, good together,
Mhm.
and, the bass player said something like, do not put me with that drummer anymore. And I
Wow.
was so shocked. I was totally shocked. And then that's when I realized that there was something that I couldn't actually see.
Right.
Even though it sounded good to me and it's not like I was a beginner, but that's the relationship of the bass player and the drummer is something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It really is.
So do you like, I mean, I know this is, like you said, there's all these different drummers who play differently,
Mhm.
but is there, is there something you don't like when a drummer does? Like for me, when I'm singing with a drummer, I can't stand drummers anymore who just do tick, tick, a tick, tick, a tick.
Mhm.
I just can't do it. I
Yeah.
want a creative drummer, but I don't want somebody getting in my way, but I want somebody adding to the color of the music like I'm doing, you
Right.
know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that same way for me. And I think, again, maybe it might be my age, but I don't like things loud. I just don't. We don't need to be that loud. Um, Me personally, every chance I get, I play without an amp. I mean, I've spent my life developing a great tone on this instrument. I don't want to have it distorted through electronics. Now, I know that it's a necessary bit of equipment. I don't want to say evil because it's not evil. It's
Yeah.
very helpful and very good. But if I keep having to turn up because I can't hear myself,
Yeah.
that's not okay, because that is, not serving the music. So mostly for me, it's if somebody is just playing too loud. I mean, it doesn't need to be that loud. If I can't hear myself, and if I can't hear the piano player who's like, my head is in the piano, if I can't hear, then how, there's no way the person on drums is hearing any of that. There's
Yeah.
no way, and so fortunately I don't work with those drummers anymore, but I have, and I've just been like, why is it so loud? It does not need to be this loud.
Yeah.
Energy is not volume.
Yeah.
It's intensity is not, how loud can we be? It's more about how are you inhabiting the quarter note? Where are you putting it? Are you on top? Are you behind? Are you in front? Where are you in that space? Not Don't be loud. I don't need, I hear you. I want to hear me too in the context of everything.
Yeah.
So I would say, in addition to what you were saying about, let's be colorful, let's add to the music, let's not just play something for the sake of playing.
Yeah.
Talking about how bass is the foundation and the anchor of everything, and I'll just keep it simple with piano trio. Piano and drums are, drums support the rhythmic concept, but the piano and the drums are comping instruments.
Yeah.
And so like what's happening between the conversation between piano comping and the drummer's snare, like what's happening there? There should be like the conversation layers, with the bass as the foundation for all of that. And if I can't hear all of that just because you're playing loud and showing me all the chops that you've got, I don't need it.
There's a drummer who shall rename, whatever.
I like that. Shall rename
Remain.
you. Yes.
Yes. Remain nameless. Anyway, very famous
Mhm.
drummer. Lives here. And normally I love his recordings, but there's been a whole bunch of times in the last number of years where I've heard him play like he's playing for a wedding.
Huh.
And in various situations, one situation was with two incredible players who really didn't travel in his circles very much, but they were still really incredible players.
Mhm.
And I was sitting there and I was expecting him, okay, you're coming on straight for a minute. Okay, that's fine. And then as the set went on, and then I got pissed off.
Wow.
I thought like he's dissing them, and
Hmm.
by the end of the first set, I had to leave because I was so furious. And I've left other times when I've heard him play in recent years. It's like I'm not sure what he's thinking. I know he still plays well, but I'm just not sure what he's thinking. It's like, I don't know about it, but there's, yeah, what we're doing is it's a perspective, it's an emotional, spiritual, and you don't have to be a spiritual person. It's a spiritual perspective. It's who you are, and what you're connected to. And we're so lucky to have this form of action that we can follow and perform for learning about life, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
We're really lucky to have this.
Oh, totally. You know, I've I've been a musician for a long time, and I can't imagine doing anything else for, my job. I
Yeah,
mean, it's work, but it's not work. Yeah, I mean, it's this thing, but being a creator like that,
yes,
um, I mean, it's such a gift to be able to do it, and to be able to do it with others and to bring that to people, because I think it is all about how can we elevate each other, and this is a tool for elevation, just like a prayer or cheering or
yeah,
whatever it is. It's like how can we um, elevate each other, especially when things are really challenging, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's hear one more thing, shall we?
Yeah,
Let's see. I'll tell you what you sent me.
okay.
Let's see. Where?
Oh,
Where is?
you know what we could do that's kind of fun? And you can critique me. I probably shouldn't even tell you this. But you can critique me. Um, because I
You're
had to
singing.
sing. I had to sing. Yes. All right. So, if you go down to where it says Rooster's Big Bass Song, um, I
Yeah.
had I had the pleasure of working with this fantastic children's book author named Kwame Alexander, and he's got a children's book called
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Acoustic Rooster and His Barnyard Band was, I think, one of his very first books that he got published, and it basically launched his career. And
Can I make slide?
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm not going to click anymore. Go ahead.
Anyway, he had written the book originally to teach his young daughter about jazz music, which is pretty cool. And so fast forward a number of years, and he landed a contract with PBS to do Acoustic Rooster and His Barnyard Band as a whole like cartoon, which is about, I don't know, 45 minutes long or something. Dee Daniels, the great Dee Daniels singer,
Yeah.
she's in it. She's Ella Finch Gerald, because it was all like names of animals, right? And so from that, PBS wanted to do a bunch of shorts, kind of similar to Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm featured as in the short that is about the bass. And they were like, well, what do you want to be? And they were trying to like, well, you could be an armadillo, you could be a steer. And I'm like, I identify as she, her, so the steer probably not going to work. But I said, well, can I be a cat? I don't know if you've noticed, but there's cat things. There's cat things.
Right.
I have 8 cats.
Oh, wow.
So I love cats. Anyway, so I said, can I be a cat? And they're like, that's a great idea. So in this thing, I'm Kitty Shook, and I'm a bass playing cat who comes through the barnyard and teaches the little chickadees about the upright bass. Now I'm not playing the bass on the actual thing. I'm doing the acting and the singing. So feel free to critique me, because
Wow.
I'm like, you want me to what? You want me to what now? So, but the guy who was contracted to do all the music was a fantastic bass player. So I'm not embarrassed at all. But this is kind of a fun thing.
Okay, so let's see. Here's the sound. I noticed it was a little loud here, so I'm gonna just, come on, maybe a little less. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
That's the one thing that's full volume.
Acoustic Rooster, Jazzy Jams. Rooster's Big Bass Song. Rooster, quick, it's right over there. We found a ginormous violin. It must belong to a giant. What do you mean, a giant? See, Rooster? Oh, relax, y'all. That's just
My upright bass. That's where I left it.
Here I am.
You're too small to be a giant.
I'm Kitty Shook, and this is my bass.
Oh, wow! I've heard you. You're like the best bass player since ever. I'm Acoustic Rooster. And I'm Shuby. That's Shuby. And I'm Viola.
Well, it's nice to meet you all.
But I want to know, how'd you hold that giant violin?
Shuby, it's called an upright bass. This is a violin. They're both string instruments, but a bass plays low notes, while a violin plays high notes. The bass helps keep the beat, kind of like the drums. Clap along, jazz cats.
Get ready.
Looks like a violin, but bigger, you know. It's got 4 strings and they sound real low. It's thumping, it's bumping, man, it's really something. Whenever I play that low down bass, Pluck those strings and they start to pound. You can feel the rhythm for miles around. It's thumping, it's bumping, man, it's really something. Whenever I play that low down bass, it's low down. So let's go down. There's no sound like that big bass boom when it fills the room. One string, two string, a three string, four, rumbling and tumbling and shaking the floor. It's thumping, it's pumping, man, it's really something. Whenever I play that low down bass, that bass. Well, that bass. That bass.
Woo! That's a bass. Who knew? I still think she might be a tiny giant. What?
Oh, God.
That is so cute.
It's I mean, and there's shorts like that for all of you young listeners out there. You can learn about the vibes. You can learn about the bass. All these other instruments in the barnyard.
That
Funny.
is so cute. What a cool thing. I mean, Schoolhouse Rock was,
I know, right? Yeah.
yeah. That was good. You did really good.
I did okay.
Especially I thought your talking was really good. Really sounded like it was communicating to the kids.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, you did okay. I mean, it sounded pretty good. I mean, from a singing teacher point of view, okay, you could practice and get a little stronger.
Yes. Oh, I know that.
But I mean, yeah, it was good.
Okay, good. All right. I say you could totally critique me because they sent it to me like, I don't know, a few days before, and they're like, what key? And I'm like, well, I don't know yet. So it depends on what time are we doing this? What time of day is it? Because I might be really low, depending. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, the voice is a really hard instrument.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I don't think, I think people just say, oh yeah, I want to sing, but they don't get like how much commitment is need to get it working well. I'm
Yeah.
still working on it. I mean, I still have problems. I still have strengths and, so yeah. So, but I think, not being a singer, I think you did a great job,
Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad to get your stamp of approval. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, so there's, I remember the day that he called me. I was like, is this a joke? You want me to what? Because I mean, yeah.
It's not,
You want me to
in your
do
toolbox usually.
you want me to do it to act and then I didn't find out till later I was supposed to sing. I thought I was going to go in there and do the acting and play the bass. I'm like, okay, it's fine. But
I
no.
thought the acting was like really good.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I really was like, oh yeah, she's really, in fact, I was trying to imagine, were you imagining talking to children or what were
Yeah.
you imagining? Yeah.
Yeah. Just being not condescending, but say, yo, this is a new thing, and I want to explain because I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I do play violin and viola. I play at the cello, but I do, and they're all completely different instruments,
Yeah.
and I'm excited about all of them, but I'm most excited about the bass. But yeah. Yeah.
What made you want to play the bass in the first place?
Well, you probably can't really see it, but right here,
Uh-huh.
this photo is, let me see if I can take it off the wall. I can.
It's a man playing.
There's a man, but it's a very specific man. You see that? That's Ray Brown.
Okay.
And this is a photo that was taken of him by a friend of mine years ago who's a fantastic flute player, but a photographer who would go around and photograph jazz musicians at different clubs. And this was taken at the One Step Down, which is a club that doesn't exist anymore in DC. And Ray was playing, and he took that fantastic photo. Anyway, so Ray Brown was the reason that I wanted to start playing the bass. I had been singing in my junior high jazz choir, and we would go every year to the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival, which was up at Moscow, Idaho, at the University of Idaho. And do the competition, whatever, and perform and get critiqued and whatever. But then there were evening concerts every night, and so I didn't know what I was hearing. I didn't know anything at all. But that night, I remember I saw Dizzy Gillespie, and I saw Carmen McRae, and I saw, I believe, Stan Getz, and I saw the Lionel Hampton Big Band, but the Ray Brown Trio. And that in those years, it was Ray with Gene Harris on piano and Jeff Hamilton on drums. And they came out, and it was just before they recorded their album, Summer Wind, which was live at the Loa there in California. And I think that's in California, isn't it? The Loa? I can't remember. I'll have to look at the thing. Anyway, but they were busy performing the material before going and recording a live album. And for one thing, just the wall of sound was, for three people. And it wasn't that it was so loud, it was that the time was like the groove was so deep. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I want that. I didn't know anything, and so the following year I was in the jazz choir, but the guy who had been playing bass in the combo that accompanied the jazz choir had gone to high school, so there was a vacancy in the bass chair, and so I volunteered and said I want to do it. So that's pretty much it, and I just listened and listened to everything I could get my hands on.
What did your parents think?
I think they were totally cool with it. At that point, I had been playing violin for about 5 years, and I still was going to continue playing violin.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to learn how to play the bass too. And they're like, well, okay, they were just happy that I was doing something that I was enjoying. So the really awesome thing in Boise when I was growing up, there was tremendous support for the music program in the public schools. So much so that there was not just like the honor orchestra for high school level, but there was which was the Treasure Valley Youth Symphony, is what that was. But there was the junior high honor orchestra and the elementary honor orchestra. There was an honor orchestra at the elementary level, full complement of woodwinds, auditioned, and I played in all of those growing up, playing violin. But they had this really awesome program that during the summer, they called it the Swap Strings program, where if you played in the orchestra during the school year, you could come and be in an orchestra on one of the other orchestral instruments and just learn how to play that instrument. I didn't get any private lessons. I was like, okay, I got to figure out where these notes are. But that's how I learned how to play the bass, was by watching as many videos as I could find, listening, trying to imitate, but that was it. And then from that point on, I played both instruments. And then as soon as I graduated with my master's, I was playing bass full time. Master's in violin, playing bass full time. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because that was my part. So, yeah.
Well, it's been 2 hours.
Amazing.
I know. It goes by when you're having a really good conversation. It's just like,
That's the
really?
way it is.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk, I'm sure, another 5 hours.
Probably.
But anyway, it was really nice to meet you, get to know you,
Likewise.
hear your playing, and get your perspective, which is a great perspective.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell the audience to check out anything before you go?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you can check out the trio that you heard earlier on, the 3D Jazz Trio. You can find us at Three Divas. It's short for Three Divas, but 3D Jazz Trio. We have a Bandcamp page. We have 4 albums out. Um, and the other thing that's coming up is my group called the Temporal Tall Collective, which is with it's me and a sax player who also plays bansuri flute, a tabla player and a guitar player. We have a Kathak dancer, and we also play with the orchestra. So that's kind of a cool thing to check out. And then actually, imminently, I don't know if you can see this picture.
Yeah.
This is an album cover of an album that is about to come out to celebrate 100 years of Zoot Sims. For those of you who are Zoot Sims fans,
Yeah.
I'm playing on it, and I'm also co-executive producer with my friend Scott Silbert, who's a fantastic tenor sax player. We have Chuck Redd playing the drums, and his brother Robert Redd playing the piano. And it's a dedication and celebration of Zoot Sims. That's coming out at the end of October, right at Zoot's birthday, and it's called Dream Dancing: 100 Years of Zoot Sims. So keep an eye out.
That's
Beautiful
great.
original artwork by amazing artist Holly Smith.
Beautiful.
Also, if you can see behind me right here,
Yeah.
that is the album cover for 3D's second album, I Love to See You Smile. She also painted that.
Oh,
So
that's
she
very
let me-
nice. Yeah, I see.
She let me buy that, and I'm like, can I use that for the album? She's like, okay. And then since then, she's just been making awesome album covers. So
That's really beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I remember hearing Zoot Sims and realizing at the time, anyway, I don't know if I listened to everything, but that he was not a player who used motifs, and which kind of blew my mind. He was just always, going on with the conversation, but not repeating stuff. Is that
Yeah.
true? Do you find that? Or
It's
have you noticed that?
somewhat. I mean, there's definitely some. He's not as motivic as someone like Joe Henderson,
Yeah,
who was,
yeah.
I think, a master of that.
Yeah.
But it was almost like he was just, continuing to play this is
The
the
idea.
melody right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And so swinging. Yeah,
A great
Yeah.
player. Oh my God.
yeah.
Well, okay.
So there you go.
I'm gonna check that out for sure.
Yeah.
Did you say that's out yet?
It'll be out at the end of October, and
Okay.
I've been terrible about updating my website, but you can find me or message me at amyshook.com,
Okay.
and see some other videos and hear some recordings and things like that.
All right.
Yeah, and hopefully one day you and I.
Why not?
Why
I
not?
I do come out to the East Coast
See?
occasionally.
And I do come out to the West Coast occasionally, so we'll communicate. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for being on.
Thank you so much, Cathy, and thanks everyone for joining us. Super fun. All right.
All right.